me. Alright, welcome back to Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic Legend Non-Classics. This episode number 3478, Doubleshot number 3372. I got two Batman trades. First, this one's quite interesting. So, this one, along with the other one, is part of the All Initiative. This one is second trade on that particular one. Because usually if you're like one, and I think this was the first one I could think of where, for the All Initiative, we actually have a Volume 2. And this being Catwoman by Torrin Graybock, Volume 2. Never Let Them Smell Blood. I think this might be a nod to a line from James Bond, where, this is my theory anyways, I think Torrin Graybock must be a James Bond fan because it feels like a little of a spy book, this one, where there was a line from World's Not Enough, where it was Q saying, "Never let to see you bleed." And he's like, in the third, always have an escape plan. And sadly put up the last time we see the original actor play Q. Well, actually, second actor, but that was the most problem one. But this book here, Collections from Catwoman, Volume 5, issues 75 through 78. And this is interesting, though, with this particular book's issue numbering, which at this point will make this the third longest run of Catwoman. And given this list as I've seen, it actually is going to surpass Volume 3 really soon. I think it may have already passed, but it's getting really close to past number. And at the rate it's going at, it's going to surpass even Volume 2. Going to be the longest volume of the whole entire series. Yes, so basically, it's 4 issues of two-parters. Torrin Graybock is the writer, with Patrico Despot on the color, on the artwork, and also colorist too. Saba Fumura does the covers. Though the cover is on the style of Sean Phillips. Yes. So we start with Never Let Them Smell Blood. So this was apparently in a place called Budapest. I think this is actually in Portugal? I think so. So Budapest. We have a guy who's being tied up, and it's dealing in Clara. It's a bunch of party stuff. There's no... Like, Catwoman is kind of here. I think she's supposed to be Clara in disguise. Yeah, the whole thing is an alias. And then it comes to a place called St. Tropez. No idea what the heck this place is. And it looks like a bunch of rich people just relaxing in some fancy yacht. And then we have this woman wearing this white bikini. I think it's Claire. I think this, and of course, then they go to look like, it looks like some weird toga party. Like cosplay. It feels like something was set in the past. And then for sheer randomness, people are killing each other. And this guy called Anton. And you're probably thinking, where the heck is Catwoman? Well, it's a flashback. Cut to the next issue where we see the guy Anton, who was behind the murders. And Selena basically kind of present. Of course, she's apparently cut it 10 years prior, where apparently she wishes us stuff. So I'm asking the question: how is this Catwoman supposed to be? Because I think when this continuity originally started, of course, they may have changed it. Because they established the continuity started, she was 23 when this thing started. Now I'm thinking she might be in her 30s. Yes, just probably about 3 or 4 years younger than Bruce. Or at least close to his age. Presumably. Yeah. It was basically... Now, I do appreciate the artwork here. And it definitely, you read these couple issues here, it feels like something that Ed Brubaker could come up with. But this is Torrin Graybock. And then finally, for issue 77... Oh, by the way, the variant covers, this is quite interesting. They have the cat from Batman Returns as part of the logo. As a matter of fact, one of the covers is actually basically a nod to a scene from Batman Returns. I don't think we come across it yet. Let me take a look at the covers. No, that's not. Yeah, Frank shows some very cover too, but no, it hasn't happened yet. So basically, and then somewhere a decade ago, and then like more stuff here. This I think is, of course, Argentina guy being tortured. So Leia basically can only see her now. It's like Torrance established this villain who's only here for these set of issues. And she's not called Selene, she's called Eve. Yes. And this two-part is called The Mills of God. And it definitely feels like a continuing nod. Okay, here is the nod to Batman Returns. Right here. Hello there. Yes. Love the fact that this is done by Frank Cho. Thank you, Frank Cho, for doing a nod to basically a... Now, I should point out, though, that this was on Selena's wall in her apartment in the movie. The cat wasn't. The cat is a nod to Maxwell Schreck. Who is Maxwell Schreck? He is an original villain played by Christopher Walken. Yeah, he's a complete original character. And here's the thing. The guy never appeared in the comics. Never did. As far as I can tell, no comic creators ever bothered to bring him in. The only comic appearance he ever made was in the Batman 89 continuity. He's never appeared in the main continuity. Never has, I remember. If he did, was Blinky miss it. I think like the only person who appeared in those 4 movies who later appeared in the comic was the psychiatrist appeared in Batman Forever. Yeah, she appeared in the comics. She first appeared in a Lenz Dark Knight giant-sized book, and then she became part of the Arkham Tower story arc. Yes, Shadows the Bat. So, you think I read this book like, okay, when is Selena putting on her outfit? Oh, like, now she puts on her outfit. Yep. Yeah, and she just globetrotting. Fight deals with Anton because of past stuff, and then the book ends with her jumping out the window with things firing, and the course says, "Next, sends the father." I gotta admit, this was quite interesting to say the least. Makes it interesting, but hopefully we're gonna get more of this. I'm still gonna pick this up because I think Tara Greinbach's doing a good job. Heck, even Teeny Howard agrees with me about this, where she actually, like, I was told, yeah, I love Tara Greinbach's work on this book so far, and she does agree too, because she's the one who succeeded in this book. I got to admit, basically, this was definitely the right choice. Yes. Also, this is a little fun fact with this volume that you might find interesting. Did you know the 4 regular writers of this book, there's only been one guy? Yeah, one. You're probably thinking, who was that? Ram V. Very first one of the first books he worked on. This book has had 3 women write this book. First, Julie Jones, which Remy did ask me about that. Did I read those issues? I did. Then you had Teeny Howard, and then you had this book. I didn't tell this to Teeny, but I should have. I felt as though with Catwoman, she actually had a plan of what she wanted to do with this one. Harley was all over the place. Next up is a book where I first saw this in the solicits when this was coming out. And I'm like, a lot of people like, thank God DC gave this character an ongoing series again. And also, well, let me show the book out. We have Batgirl Volume 1, Mother. Here is an interesting fun fact with this book. Yes, it's Cassandra Cain's book. So, this is the first Batgirl title released by DC Comics to not feature Barbara Gordon as Batgirl since 2011. Yes, because that was the year, because prior to that, just 2 years prior to that, we had Stephanie Brown in a short-lived run she had as Batgirl. And this book here makes a ton of references. There's mention of issue 25, a Batgirl Volume 1, and it does feature of a character which I believe this was her first post-Flashpoint appearance I can think of, because this character died pre-Flashpoint and now she's alive. Yeah, it's completely random. So, Cassie Kane, first time she's had a solo book as Batgirl since 2008. Yes. And a story known as Redemption was a miniseries. But the first ongoing she's had as Batgirl since 2003. 2003. Book got canceled after 73 issues due to because the book dared be moderately successful. So DC axed the book after 73 issues and made her evil for some stupid reason. And in case you're curious, this book only came out just last year. So, in terms of ongoing, first time in 22 years that Cassandra Cain has had an ongoing series as Batgirl, but the first one she had as first series as Batgirl since 2008, which is prior to this, which in between how long it's been? 17 years. Yeah, so people have to wait a long time for a book called Batgirl that did not feature Barbara Gordon's Batgirl. As a matter of fact, Barbara Gordon is not in these issues. It's all Cassie. And from the start, of course, basically, yes, they do acknowledge that Cassie is the daughter of Lady Shiva. Also, you gotta love this with Cassie, is that the artist put her in her pre-Flashpoint costume. No alterations. I thought this was really cool. And the art style is a bit reminiscent of Damian Scott's artwork a little tight-ish. So, by the way, they do reference Batman Eternal, or Batman Eternal, with her being going to orphan. They do reference that in here too. And the whole thing is like, yeah, it's like, yeah, she keeps calling her daughter, of course, occasionally calling her Cassandra, and there's those people after her, and Cassie and her have to reluctantly work together to get out of there. And it is interesting though. You have Cassie picking up her mom. Who are they? You believe me? Answer. Apparently there are a group of ninjas called the Unburied. And her temple is attacked, and basically she has to protect them. People are thinking, at this point, where's the first reference to a Batgirl issue? Well, it's not in the opening pages of the first issue. But it does happen. There's a couple references in here. At this point, no. Goes to her temple, stops the high priest being killed. And of course, yes. So, they work together to fight the Unburied, a group of ninjas. And firefighters get attacked by one of the ninjas. What's wrong? Kitty cat? Oh, this is my mother, Sandra. Her training person who's injured needs help. She resists. Haha, mother like daughter. Easy, Stitch. That's it. Yeah. Well, technically, that is her real name. This is like, yeah, she's called Lee Shiva. Sandra is her real name. So, interesting they brought that in for her. And of course, basically, the woman runs the place. Get a chance to talk to Lady Shiva, like, how you know my daughter. See, here's the thing. The one thing Shiva does not mention to her is that Shiva didn't raise her daughter. David Kane did. Except he's still dead. Yeah, that's a weird thing about this. He's still deceased. They've never revived him. He's been dead since Batman and Robin Turtle number 25. Actually, it was 26. He basically fell down a hole with this woman called Mother. Which this book has nothing to do with that at all. So I love the interaction between these two. And then we have Cassie having lunch with her mom. And then they just attack the kitchen. The kitchen is not... The people were not stupid. We have Shiva kick this guy into a refrigerator. Which, okay. Yeah, and of course Cassie's bleeding, so I can't leave. Yeah. Where do they go? And of course, Cass... I love the fact the writer remembers... Oh, what about the writer of this book is Tate Brombo? Remembers the fact that Cassie can read body language. Yeah, she can speak normally, but she can read body language. That was a trailer for Flashpoint, and this book remembers that. Yep. So... And then... I'm not sure what exactly that... Cassie's doing. I think she just headbutted her mom's nose. I'm like, seriously? It looks like based on this artwork, she headbutted her nose, but she headbutted like, enough. Like, make you bleed all you want, but it will still be your blood. Yep. Heir to Shiva. And then the League of Shadows are here because reasons. And I love this shot here of Shiva basically fighting all these ninjas. And this lasts for several pages of his train. And then we see Nissa Al Ghul, who has been dead since they mention here this year. Like, she's been dead since Batman 40. Yeah, she got killed off by Cassie in the opening issue. Yeah. How she's alive here? Not explained. I think this one moves with a different comic. They just brought her in here because why not? Even I think this big Boca, is this Bronze Tiger? No, this guy is not Bronze Tiger. He's never identified as Bronze Tiger. He's basically Chuck Damn Bound. Yeah, and there's lots more action here. It's a really interesting ending to this book. So they go to the Unburied, and Cassie without her mask on because I don't think she gives a damn. And then she has a dream sequence from where she sees Stephanie. Yep, Stephanie Brown, her BFF, in a dream sequence. And then we see, in this dream, we see Shiva, and then we see David Kane. He's still dead. This is the only appearance we see in these issues. Then she wakes up, says, "Wake up, Cassandra. Did you have beauty sleep? Good, because our enemies did not defeat my daughter." "Who sells my daughter?" "Yes." Yeah, that's the thing about Shiva. She just occasionally leave her by her name or call her my daughter. Just simply daughter. Because they're not connected very much at all. And anytime I think of Shiva in the last several years, it's like, I can't think of that line. That basically that series of lines between Cassie and Duke, where Cassie's telling Duke this, like, you think my mom is hot. And Duke responds with, everybody thinks your mom is hot. And Shiva smiles at that. Because it's true. Both women are hot. Thank you, Brian Hill, for writing that. That was awesome. So yeah, they're being held hostage by the Unburied. And they get out, of course. Was daughter of the bad, so my father taught me. And they fight through these ninjas, and get the motorcycles like tell to go, and then she fights him, and then apparently she dies. They never show her body. It's like implied that she died. It's like Cassie sees her, presumably getting killed, being sliced. I would not be surprised if later on they bring her back in some weird fashion. But this book, wow, was so good. Great job. I give this book a 10 because this book is so good. The writer herself, this person, who apparently wrote this book called House of Slaughter, and the artist worked on Mech Cadet U. I got to admit, this actually was a damn good book, and really good the fact they brought her back here. I think maybe the reason why they brought us back last year is because, and this is my personal theory, I think because it had been 25 years since issue 1 of the Batgirl book released in 2000. That's probably the reason why they did this. And smart idea. Very smart idea indeed. But here's something interesting about this book that I should bring up. Batman is mentioned. There's no appearance of Batman in this whole book. There's no Barbara Gordon. She is not here. It's all Cassie with her hot mom. Because everybody thinks she's hot. Because that was a line Duke said, which Shiva agrees with that. Yeah. I think that maybe, just maybe, I think that Shiva would not mind it if Duke was with her daughter, with Cassie giving that line. Yeah. But book overall, like I said, awesome. Really good. Can't get my hands in the next trade. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Take a video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, to notifications. I think I could do one more. I want to do one more. I had to do one more comic ready to go. Okay, let's go. Bye.